trying to think, the most important lesson that I learned is to know what kind of artist you are. That's hands down at the core, the fundamental. Everything branches out from that. Know what kind of artist you are. I was born and raised DC in the 80s. I grew up on Howard campus. My dad was the dean of the art department at Howard University. My mom was a practicing artist, and she also taught at universities around DC. I never saw any separation between everyday existence and fine art. It was all the same to me. There are many situations in New York where artists try to find a space that works for them. They finally find a space that works for them in neighborhoods that they probably usually frequent, they're around a lot, but inadvertently they become the tip of the spear for the eventual gentrification of that neighborhood without even knowing it. I had to leave Bushwick. I had to decamp from there because I was involved in a year-long fracas with my landlords. Long story short, they wanted us out. And it was a long loft law battle, this, that, and the other. And I was a casualty of that. I needed a place. I sent out a message online, and my friend Josh got back to me, and he was like, I have a place for you. Just come up and use my spot. I was like, okay, cool. And he had a spot up in the Bronx. And the spot up in the Bronx is raw. But it's really raw. It was like rawer than anything I've ever had. No heat, no running water, no bathroom, no anything. But it was exactly what I needed because I thrive in those in-between areas, those kind of DMZ areas, those demilitarized areas, and where you can you have the freedom to do what you want. You don't have any real oversight. And so I got up there and I put together a lot of the stuff that is in the show. Put the final touches on a lot of the stuff that's in the show. I could do welding, fiberglassing, anything up there. So it's gonna be cool, using this and then introducing the, the Kevlar, bulletproof Kevlar fabric into this. It's not gonna be brown in the middle, it'll be this like rusted yellow down the middle. And I'm thinking about taking some of this stuff out on a range and putting some actual bullets in there. Yeah, right now we're at Super Chief Gallery in 99 Spring Street, down here in Soho, where I have my current solo show, Jimmy Crow and the Imaginary Thug. Yeah, it's really good to see all this work in one place. It's a narrative that I've been weaving for a while right now. And most of these were made in my studio in Bushwick. Some of my favorite pieces that I've made are pieces that transcend the border between work of art and naturally found relic. One of my focuses is that I want to give experiences to people, and the pieces that give the most experiences to people or make people feel the most are the pieces that end up being my favorite. My favorite moments of people interacting with my pieces have been when they can't tell if something is an actual object that just happened to show up in a gallery in my studio, or if I made it. I love coming in here and people asking like, where'd you get that metal piece? I made it. No, where'd you get it though? What airplane did you take it off? What turbine did you take it off? And I'm like, okay, cool. And it's fun telling them, no, that came from an 8x4 sheet of sheet metal, I take a chance with a lot of the work that I make because I critique by example a lot, and that can get you in trouble. And it's a tricky line to walk. You really have to have a poetic kind of approach to it to make sure that that view is seen clear. And that's something that I've been juggling, forever, really. where does the idea of the thug, the white contemporary idea of the thug, come from? You know, and what was it created by? Why is there a liquor store and a gun store on every corner in a black neighborhood? Why is every Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard the most rundown street in every city in a black neighborhood? The things that people are realizing now, that it's not that black communities have been ripping themselves apart, it's that black communities have been consistently, intentionally, not just neglected, but shat upon. The idea of the thuggernaut comes from when Obama invited Common, the rapper, to the White House. And half of white America was just like, how dare our president invite this violent thug rapper to the White House, to our house? And I was like, these people have obviously never heard of Common. Common dates Erykah Badu. Common eats vegetables. Common knits his own hats. Common is the furthest thing from a thug. You know, they're creating a whole mythology about us, about me, when they see me. I was like, I'm gonna make the myth. I'm gonna illustrate the myth. This is the myth. This is what you see when you look at me. This one-eyed, cycloptic, 6 brown-armed, pachydermic beast that just roams the urban landscape, dishing out genocide and self-defeating behaviors, whose blood pumps low-grade malt liquor, whose lungs breathe the smoke from menthol and Newport cigarettes. Like, this is what you see when you see me. With the Colt 45s and the malt liquor, that's what this beast, you know, that's what this beast pumps, what its blood is, you know? And I'm a big fan of realism. These canvases are actual bulletproof Kevlar. You know, this steel is actual steel. And that Colt 45 that's pumping through the veins of this thuggernaut over here, you know, giving it its pulse that you see in the veins, is real malt liquor. It's real Colt 45, real St. Ides, you know? And Aunt Jemima, you know, Aunt Jemima shows up. She's Auntie J in that piece over there. Auntie J disciplining a young thuggernaut, you know? And living a life where I run into that constantly and seeing how that permeates throughout the globe. You know, I go to Japan, I get racist comments nonstop. I go to Europe, racist comments nonstop. South Africa, you know, anywhere, you know? And it's these things that happen. And so, that's that thing, that mythology, that subjective reality, and that's what finds its way into my work. And a lot of people talk about it's a sci-fi or fantasy. I'm like, no, this is now, this year, right now, right here.